I just want to hit on the part SS. Ironic that that has to do with boats, but part SS, maybe we should put two vertical lines through it, make them dollar signs. But I just want to touch on this for a minute. The sales tax exemption, I just want to make sure we don't have it backwards. The sales tax exemption kicks in on anything above 230.
Yes,
Not up to 230.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
They
Seems
pay up to 230 and that's it.
They pay up to 230. So, okay.
Before
so-
that, they were paying for the whole thing. And they were not coming because of that.
Right. Are there any, is the thought process here mainly on the sale of new yachts or used yachts?
Any boat that you sell.
Right. Do we have any, okay, any boat that you sell, new or used? Do we have any yacht manufacturers in New York State? That
I
you're aware
don't
of?
know.
Okay.
I doubt it.
Okay.
Unless, no, is there any? Yes, there is. One of your colleagues is waving his head, yes.
There is a yacht manufacturer?
Yes, he's
I'll
saying-
yield. Sir. All right. So, so Denny, you had mentioned that, I just want to, part double J, which is on page 78 of the bill, in part SS, line JJ there. Notwithstanding any other provisions of this article, receipts in excess of $230,000 from every sale of and consideration given or contracted to be given for, or for the use of a vessel shall be exempt from the taxes imposed by this article. So can you expound on that a little for me and what is meant by consideration given or contracted to be given for, or for the use of the vessel? Can you
Well,
expand?
I think they're trying to do is make sure you can't come up with a smart idea where you'll tell the person who's building your boat, you'll rent it to me, and so we won't have to pay that 230. So we want to make sure that there's no backing out, and that's what I would think the lawyers thought of when they wrote the language like that, trying to make sure that we at least get the 230.
So if someone is given the use of a yacht, that yacht, and I'm looking here, some of these yachts, obviously amazing vessels. I see one here that rents for $150,000 a week,
Yeah.
U.S. dollars. They're not all that high, but 135,000, 50, 58,000, a lot of money per week. So if someone donated or lets someone use that vessel, would that be tax exempt above 230? Where would it kick in? It's the use of the vessel?
If there's money exchanged, yes, they would get up to 230. You would get paid, because what they're probably doing, if they're doing that, is backdooring. So if it's there more than 6 months, is it 6 months? Is it 6 months? I think it's 6 months. That makes it a part of New York, and then they have to pay the tax. It's 3 months, not.
Yeah, 90 days, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And that's different from Florida how? Florida kicks in what, 91?
No, Florida, what we did is copy Florida. And we did that because they're the big competition.
Well, they're a big competition, but you can also use the boat year-round down there. That's probably why there's a lot of boats down there. They also have no income tax down there, which is why a lot of wealth is heading out of New York down there. Maybe a whole different topic, but if we're really worried about competing with Florida, we should probably address our income tax issue, because there's a reason Florida just surpassed New York and is now number 3 in population.
And
it ain't yachts.
You should see their sales tax and
Well-
their health care.
Well, I don't think people are worried too much about it because they're flooding down there, Denny, but different topic all
Until
together.
they're dying and they come back to New York.
Well, yeah, that's true. Well,
I passed the coming back age. I can't go down.
yeah, I won't, I will refrain from comment, Denny. But
stop.
we're glad to have you here. I will say that. We're glad to have you here. I guess what I want to kind of explore a little bit is the thought process of above 230. Because to me, this is just, obviously it's a tax break for some wealthy people, because you have to be exceptionally wealthy. I mean, beyond wealthy to own one of these yachts.
Yeah.
This is billionaire type material. This isn't a guy that sold his company for 20 or 30 million owning one of these yachts. These yachts are unbelievable pieces of equipment. But I don't understand why we didn't exempt all the boats. If we're really interested in helping the little guy, why didn't we exempt all these vessels? And let me continue for 1 second. That's the question, but I want to point out the fact that it is estimated that when Hurricane Sandy hit, 65,000 boats were destroyed.
Yeah.
And it would go a long way to help the boat industry in New York recover if, in fact, we had maybe exempted up to 230,000 and collected the tax above the 230,000.
The answer is yes? No. I didn't get the question.
Well, the question is, what was the thought process here of exempting above 230 and not up to 230?
In other words, not charge, in other words, that what you'd really be saying is make it a $230,000 boat, and you don't tax them, and everybody above you tax.
Yeah, in other words, somebody's
that's
buying.
a good idea. It would reverse it. Would reverse it.
I mean, their Boston whaler ended up 10 blocks inland, down in New York City, or out on the island after Sandy. That boat is destroyed. That guy just wants to go fishing and have some fun with his family. To me, it would have made more sense, that's all. So my question would be, why didn't we exempt it up to 230 and begin taxing above?
I think we may have just joined in the argument and decided to go, and we have been talked to, we have spoken to them, some of the people that own the boats and some of the manufacturers of the boats, and this number came from them while looking at Florida, from what I've been told. Because I asked some of these questions also. So I think that's one of the reasons why we did what we did.
So, but right now, what is the tax exemption in Florida? Same thing,
Yeah,
above
same number,
230.
Yeah, same number.
So we didn't improve on it. We just mirrored.
Yeah, we just say so you can go to either one, but the issue will not be why you're going there and not here.
Well, where's their incentive to go here? I mean, there's more boats to pick from in Florida. There's more boat dealers in Florida.
Yeah, well,
there's better weather.
We can't stop that, but we can stop the portion that we're going to charge them for the whole thing. The only piece they're going to pay for if they buy the boat up here is they're going to pay for the first 230, which is the same they'd be doing in Florida. So that will go out. We're taking that out of the debate. Now, there may be 100 other reasons why they go to Florida, New York, and there's 150 why they may come here and not Florida if we don't do that with the tax.
And they're allowed to keep, even with this new provision, they can keep the boat here for 90 days before they get a use tax on it. Is that right? Or do I have that wrong?
Right, yes.
Okay, 90 days, and then they begin to get charged use tax. What tax rate are they getting charged? If they buy a $50 million yacht, what is the tax rate? Is it just the standard sales tax in New York?
4%.
Just 4%?
Yeah.
Oh, not just, that's a lot of money
Yeah,
on
right.
$50 million bucks, but, and then they get the local tax on top of that as
Yeah,
well.
right, the piece on there.
So 7, 8, something like that? That'd be
Yeah.
about right, guys? 7 or 8%?
Yeah, it's 8 usually, 8.5. I don't know, you may have special depending on your location.
Okay. And this bill forces local governments to eliminate their share of collecting that tax as well?
No, it doesn't affect them.
Does it provide any local option for them?
Not that we know of as we're talking now.
Okay, so in effect, that the local government's tax is eliminated above 230 as well?
No. No,
It's not.
no.
Okay,
That's
but
the state one.
okay, but there is no local option in the bill. Okay. All right. So right now in Florida, I don't expect you necessarily to know it, but any idea what the sales tax is in Florida, the rate?
It's very high, 6%.
6%.
They don't have a income tax, but they do it in real estate, in on your house and your food. But they tax too. They just pay tax a different group. Should look at that.
Oh, I understand. Everybody taxes, just not to the same extent of New York. Okay, so with this bill, there is no improvement on what Florida's doing. We are trying to compete with Florida.
Yeah.
We didn't improve on it in
We
any.
matched.
We just matched.
Yes. We think we're so good that they'll come to us when it's even.
We
Couldn't
keep,
resist that one.
we keep thinking that as those boats motor down the intercoastal, but
Yeah.
any idea how many boats are sold above the 230,000 mark in New York right now currently?
No, we don't have it here.
Any idea how many are sold in Florida?
No.
Okay. What's the fiscal impact to the state of New York with this bill?
It's revenue neutral
How? How can it possibly be?
because they weren't coming.
Because they weren't coming. Okay. They're
We're
not.
hoping they will come and we'll gain money.
So it's the boat of dreams. If we don't tax it, it will come.
Yes.
We
I
hope.
hadn't thought of that. I can see that.
Okay. Okay, so, all right, Denny, thank you. I appreciate your indulgence. Mr. Speaker, on the bill.
Thank you.
On the bill, Mr. McLaughlin.
You know, this is a real sticking point in this revenue bill for me. 65,000 boats destroyed in Hurricane Sandy. Those are everyday people that want to go fishing and water skiing and enjoy time with their family. We're going to continue to tax them at exorbitant rates for owning a boat. They get no break at all, but a billionaire gets to pay nothing above $230,000. If anything was done here, we should have eliminated the tax up to $230,000 and then begun taxing above that. So, as we see often, New York got it backwards again, and we're going to tax the little guy and hammer him in the hopes that we somehow get yacht owners to purchase a boat in New York, somehow. Weather's not great, the taxes are high, fuel tax, everything else is high. You can't use the boat for more than 3-4 months a year, but we're somehow going to hope that they just gravitate to New York. We didn't improve on what Florida did, even though we're trying to compete with them. We just matched them. But we just heard a debate about the movie industry, about how we have to be better than everyone else. We have to do better as far as tax cuts go and tax credits go and everything else. But in this instance, all we simply did was match a state that has lower taxes, better weather, more boat inventory. I don't think this is going to do anything. Certainly don't think it's going to be revenue neutral. And I do think that we could have gone a long way to helping the little guy here by not taxing his boat. So it's a missed opportunity here. As I said earlier, interesting and ironic that it's part SS, which stands for steamship in the old days. Interesting that that happens to be where it is in the budget bill, and it has to do with boats. Like I said, maybe a couple vertical lines through those S's, make them look like dollar signs, because this certainly benefits the billionaires in New York State. This at a time when we are sitting here debating a budget. None of our schools have school aid runs. We just found out last night what our schools are getting. I don't think this makes a lot of sense as we move forward here. So I'm voting no on this revenue bill, not just because of this reason, but certainly this is a contributing factor. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.